Hello, 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 my lovely Marshall blenders. Welcome back. So, guess what? We're gonna be talking about the circle of hair growth. Okay, so guys, we all know we have thousands and thousands of hairs that grow out of our head. They grow out of what I call the skin pore, which is the hair follicle. What happens in the hair follicle, I call it like a little factory. Okay, so the factory produces hair. Essentially what happens is skin cells are turned into hair cells. And the way that happens is that skin cell gets filled with a protein called keratin through a process called keratinization. And as those cells continue to be produced in the hair follicle, it's producing and it just grows. So let's call this the top part of the follicle, the cross section of the follicle. So it grows out from the scalp, and that's when you start seeing the hair grow. Now the hair that grows out from the follicle, the cross section, that is what we see, and it's called a hair shaft, right? So now that process of keratinization occurs during the beginning part of the circle or cycle of hair growth, right? And that process is called anagen. Anagen, the word ana literally means, let's see, up. Okay? So the word ana means up. The word gen means production or creation, okay? Kind of like Genesis, book of creation. So anagen means up. So that means production is up. Where? In the follicle. And during that time, that phase lasts from 3 to 5 years. For some people, it lasts to 10 years. Now, what does that mean? That means that sometimes a person's hair can only grow up to here or here because their anagen phase, the time that production is up of hair in the hair follicle, lasts but so long. So after that time, the hair goes into what's called catagen phase. Remember that, catagen phase. Cata is Greek for down, or Old Greek for down. So catagen is when production is down. So production stops in the hair follicle. There's no more keratinization occurring, which means that the cell is being having keratin be produced in it, right? That's not happening anymore. So it's production is down in the hair factory, in the follicle, right? It stops. That lasts about 2 weeks. So 3 to 5 years, anagen, production is up. 2 weeks of catagen, production is down. And so after that comes something called telogen. Telogen, Greek for telos, is Greek for death. I mean, I need to learn how to edit, but forget it. You guys are rocking with me, right? Okay. So telogen means that now production has ended. Telogen, production has ended. So there you go. Anagen, up. Catagen, down. Telogen, end. So that is the cycle of the hair growing on your head. You have 3 to 5 years. Some people can go up to 10 years. Now, what does that mean if it goes up to 10 years? That means they have a possibility of 10 years of growth. That means it goes past their booty. But if it doesn't grow so long, guess what? That's why you're not able to reach broad strap length or whatever. Now, there are things you can do to give it longevity. We can talk about that in some other time. But now just to review and recap. Anagen, up. That lasts 3 to 5 years, for some people up to 10 years. Catagen, down. Production is down. The hair stops for 2 weeks. The follicle stops producing hair. Telogen is where that hair that is in that follicle will either shed off, or it will wait till the next anagen cycle starts and the new hair starts to grow, and the old hair will then shed off. So for the most part, 90% of the hair on your head is going through anagen. Okay, so don't worry. 90% of your hair is going through anagen. That means 90% of the hair on your head is actually growing. Catagen, it's like less than 1% of your hair is going through catagen, and is in the catagen phase, that 2-week phase where there's no production. And the obviously less than 10% of your hair is at any given point is going through telogen, where it's shedding. Get it? That's why they talk about 30 to 50 hairs being shed daily. And so it's normal to shed hair. But that also helps us understand why our hair may not grow as long as we'd like it to. But that's not the only reason. There's other videos where I talk about length retention. So one tip for length retention: the wet brush. The wet brush. The wet brush. Not, no disrespect to any of the other companies, but the wet brush is the main brush that you should use when you're detangling your hair. You know, it works. I work with natural hair for the most part, and it doesn't give me an issue. I've worked with long natural hair. You know what I mean? I was able to get them in and out hour and a half. You know, some people I could do it even less. The wet brush really does simplify it. They have a brush for blow drying. They have the paddle brush. So yeah, so I really like the wet brush. All right, guys, so that was it. That was the bit of conversation. Remember, anagen, up, catagen, production stops, telogen, end of the production, end of it. Then the cycle begins. All right? Okay, guys, so I love you very much. Thank you for blending with me, my lovely Marshall blenders, and stay with me. Ciao. Mwah.